Happy Tuesday and welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Law is here as well, running the show. He'll be rifling through the mailbag later in the show. Yep. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. If you're with us right away, thank you. Hit that like button for us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. Same deal if you're a podcast listener. Like, subscribe, rate, review. We would appreciate that big time. A lot to get to today, so we're going to do it pretty quickly. Yesterday, this article came out on the Daily Faceoff from Matt Larkin. And the headline is, these 2023-2024 non-playoff teams could make it, and 2024-25, and these playoff teams could miss. So we're going to talk about the teams that he thinks can make it.
Is one of them the Blackhawks?
One of them is the Blackhawks.
What? Oh.
And
damn,
he's got some reasoning here, and let's talk about the reasoning. We'll share what he has to say, and then we'll kind of give our thoughts on it. Matt Larkin says, quote, "If you think I played it too safe with the Devils, it's time to provoke some spit takes. Chicago."
Wait.
1 year after it finished with the NHL's 31st best record? Hear me out. We'll start with the Connor Bedard piece of it. He averaged .897 points per game. 0.90. Be fair. As an 18-year-old, the only two 18-year-olds this millennium to exceed that scoring rate are Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. More on that later. They both underwent major production leaps as second-year players, winning the Hart and Art Ross trophies and making the playoffs. Given Bedard is on a generational talent trajectory, it's reasonable to believe he can explode into the 100-point stratosphere as a sophomore if he has a decent enough team around him. Kyle Davidson set out to provide that this offseason, adding Tyler Bertuzzi and Teuvo Teravainen to the top six, with Ilya Mikheyev and Pat Maroon sprinkled in for depth. Factor in Taylor Hall's return for an injury, and that's a vastly improved forward core with TJ Brody and Alec Martinez added to the D core, and Laurent Brossoit, arguably the NHL's best backup this past season, improving their crease. The Hawks look significantly improved on paper. Best of all, they achieved that without a bunch of ill-advised long-term contracts. So there's your justification. Mainly
let's go.
Focus on Connor Bedard. So for funsies, and using the names Matt Larkin gave, and I also included Austin Matthews in this study. Sidney Crosby, as a rookie, had 102 points in 81 games. That's 1.25 points per game. Second year jumped to 120 points in 79 games. That's 1.52 points per game, so that's a plus 0.27 increase. Connor McDavid went from 48 points in 45 games, a 1.07 points per game, to 100 points in 80 games. That's a 1.25 point per game total, plus 1.8.
Following you so far.
Austin Matthews jumped from 69 nice points in 82 games, that's 0.084, to 62 points in 62 games, that's a point per game. That's 0.14 jump. So that's an average of a 0.02 jump from year one to year two with those three players. Bedard had 0.90 points per game last year. That would jump him to 0.920, which would give him a 75-point pace for next season.
75-point pace for next season.
So he needs to make an even bigger jump, is what you're telling
me. He would have to be, yeah.
He'd almost have to double his points.
However, he won't be playing with Philip Kurashev and Nick Foligno and Ryan Donato most of the year.
Right.
One would hope.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not, and again, I averaged this out over 82 for him. So it's a really big jump to ask for Connor Bedard. The biggest jump the three made was Crosby, 0.27 points per game was the jump.
Yeah. And that, so a point, let's say if Bedard was to mimic that, a quarter of a point per game more per.
That'd be 76 points.
No.
Yep.
From last year to this, from last year to this,
you would jump from
season,
0.90 to 0.927. That's 76 points in 82 games.
No, you're doing 0.025 is what you're saying. But you're saying he did a 0.25. jump from 1.27 to 1.52 is 0.25, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying 0.02 something.
That's a jump from...
So if Bedard went from 0.9 and added 0.25, it would be 1.15, if I'm doing the math right.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Or 1.05,
yeah, you're right.
whatever.
My math is wrong.
Yeah.
Delete that graphic.
I was told there would be no math.
Me too.
But no, so if Bedard added 0.25 points per game to what he did last year,
Right, it'd be
right?
over a point a game.
He'd be over a point a game.
So he'd be right about 90 points.
Yeah.
Roughly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Which would still,
that would be much better, and that would mimic the Crosby, jump. And I'm thinking if you get Connor Bedard around 90 points next year, like that's a success for the season.
absolutely.
And I think it's on it feels realistic.
Certainly doable.
It feels realistic so long as A, he's healthy all year, and B, the other 4 players that you can pencil into the top 6 no matter where they are, Hall, Bertuzzi, Tavo, and Kurashev.
And hopefully Reichel.
And maybe Jason Dickinson. Like, it just depends on how things are matched up. But if they're all relatively healthy for the season, if that can stay together for the most part, you have a good chance of Bedard leading the way in over a point per game pace. And I think that at least makes it a less than 0% chance that they could push for a playoff spot, or more than a 0% chance.
Yeah, I just think everything has to go right.
Yes.
It does.
And some other teams have to have everything go wrong. Because the Blackhawks had 52 points last year.
Yeah.
The Vegas Golden Knights was the last team to make the playoffs last season in the West with 98 points. You'd almost have to double your points.
Yeah.
That is
That's a lot.
really freaking hard to do.
It is. And the roster's not that much better.
I mean, it is better. It
is significantly better.
It is better.
It's not twice as good.
No. But it's better offensively. It's definitely better defensively. And it's better goaltending. Like, every time Peter Mrazek is on the bench isn't an automatic loss anymore. What it seemed to be, except for 4 games last season. It's just, it's fun to write that. And I know that, like, yes, if Connor Bedard has 120 points, that might help. But I just think if this team can get above 70, it's a successful season. If it can get 20 points in the standings, that's huge. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I say it's pretty unlikely.
Extremely
unlikely. Who knows? Maybe they go and they start the season on a barn burner, and it's Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden they're looking good to where if they play 500 the rest of the year, they can back their way into the second wild card spot. I don't know. I think this year is still going to be the development of the young guys is still the main goal here, especially at the Rockford level. But in order for them to get anywhere close to a wild card spot, Bedard is going to have to take that jump. You're going to need that 100-point season from him.
Yeah.
And you're going to need at least 4 other guys to score 20 or more. Do you have that?
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. You would think Bertuzzi and Tavo, if they're playing with Bedard all year, should have the opportunity to put up 20. They're definitely going to have the opportunity to pick up a ton of assists. Who else is your 20-goal scoring threats? Kurashev, if he's not playing with Bedard, I don't see it.
True. What if he's playing with Taylor Hall?
Maybe, but Taylor Hall, I can't.
And if Frank Nazar makes the team and he's with Kurashev,
I just can't trust Taylor Hall to play more than 15 games.
I agree with you.
And even if he plays 60, does he score 20? I don't know. We haven't seen Taylor Hall at full health in 2 years.
I will say we have some recent history. The 2022-23 New Jersey Devils went from 63 points the year before to 112 the next season. That is the biggest jump in NHL single season history. Right. 63 to 112 points
having
in 1 year.
Jack Hughes go, MVP quality season
That's
helped.
what, a 49-point jump.
Yeah, I don't. And then what happened the following year? They were right back to missing. They lost.
Yeah, they crashed.
60 points. I'd rather have more of a linear trajectory than doing, an American Eagle version of your
Yeah, that'd be
standings.
nice.
I'm going to go in the expectations between somewhere between 70 and 75 points this season. Therefore, I think that's logical, reasonable, real world expectations. I don't think you can be disappointed too much, because unless it's another disastrous health season, that's achievable.
Yeah.
And anything beyond that is gravy. It's great.
Man, you talking about Thanksgiving, you're talking about gravy, you're getting me hungry, Greg.
I am hungry.
I don't know. I think there is a 99% chance they do not make the playoffs. I think if you have every player on the roster, regardless of who it is, if Nazar's here, if he's not, everyone would have to play their best potential season and stay healthy.
Right.
And even at that, I think you're looking at maybe you're flirting with the second wild card. Because like you guys have said, this team has improved drastically from last year, but it is not a put the stamp down. All these guys together make the playoffs.
Well, that Devils team, for reference, had, I think it was a 99-point year from Hughes, then an 80-year point from Heishier. Who's the second guy to Bedard that's going to have those huge numbers? And they also had two guys in the 70s in points. You're just not, even if Bedard hits 100 points, which is not completely out of the realm of possibility, where else is it coming from? Even if you love Nazar, he's not going to have 70 points as a rookie.
No, and he might not even play half of the season in the NHL.
Yeah.
He might play almost all of the year in Rockford, the way that the roster has been set up. I think if you have Bertuzzi, you have Tavo, their career highs are what, in the 60s? I know Tavo is like a 63-point career high. Bertuzzi's not too far off from that either. What was his career high here as I look it up as I'm talking? 62 points.
Tavo had 76 points in 82 games in 2018-19.
Okay, so 76 and
that's
62.
a career high.
So that's career high for those guys. So if they flirt with their 60s and upper 60 points, that's great. That'd be wonderful. Taylor Hall, if he's healthy for more than 50 games, if he can be close to 40, 50 points on that kind of pace for the season, that's great. I think even if all those things happen, you're still talking about a team that's going to make a significant jump, but that's a huge hurdle to get into playoff contention.
And if you're going to move into the playoffs, that means someone's coming out. Who that made the playoffs last year is that much worse than they were last year?
I don't know.
Dallas is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, you can argue Winnipeg, that 110 points, is that repeatable?
Did the Kings get better?
Yeah, but
not really.
But if the Kings stay the same, they're a 100-point team. They're not jumping the Kings.
They lost. They lost Alec Martinez and Victor Arvidsson.
That's true.
Alec Martinez has been on that team in 3
They
years.
lost Matt Roy too.
Vegas.
I don't know. I just don't see a team that's gonna Nashville got better. They had 99 points. They got better.
Yeah,
I can see Nashville swapping spots with Winnipeg this year. It just, I don't see enough teams. You could argue
The other thing
you could argue Vancouver's going to come back to earth a little bit. I think
probably.
they
lost
overachieved.
Mikheyev. They're screwed.
Yeah, they are totally. And Zadorov.
Zadorov.
No one.
Zadorov, yep.
How can you function without Nikita Zadorov? It's not possible.
Vegas is still going to be Vegas and be competitive.
Who in front of them that didn't make it got better? You could say Utah is better than they were.
Utah's
got
probably
better.
better. Not Minnesota, not St. Louis, but those teams were 35 and 40 points better than the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Even with the improvements,
Well,
are
and
you
the other-
40-point improved?
The other thing, too, is when those teams get worse, the teams that are ahead of them have an easier time playing them, too. When there's less parity, if St. Louis and Minnesota are also bad, they're easier games for Colorado and Nashville and for all
Right,
those
yeah.
teams to play,
Right.
too. So where the Hawks might gain some ground, those other teams are going to have 2-3 extra wins every year, too, because they're just not as good as they were last year or as challenging.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Western Conference, I just don't see any of the teams that made it this year. Like, yeah, you can argue that some of them may miss, but I don't know who.
I mean, Winnipeg and Vancouver.
Maybe the best one I would say is LA. Might be the team that falls out because they were the third team in the Pacific, but they had the same amount of points as Nashville and just one ahead of Vegas. So, and there's a 6-point gap between Vegas as wild card 2 and the Blues as the first team out in the West at 92 points. So even if you're in the mid 90s, you're still short of what it of the standard last year.
It's
I
fun
say
to
as
dream,
long
but
as they don't get the stuffing beat out of them very much this year, I'll be happy.
All right.
Is it Thanksgiving already? What's going on?
I don't know. Every day
I'm
can be
missing
Thanksgiving.
something.
You can serve Thanksgiving dinner to me every day of the week, and
That's true.
That's correct.
Yes, just to piss off Braggs.
What is the most valuable thing in the world? Well, for us, it's Connor Bedard. But aside from that, the second most valuable thing is time. And you don't need to worry about taking up your time worrying if you smell anymore. I was paranoid about smelling because I'm a big guy, got lots of nooks and crannies, especially around this time of the day. It was exhausting mentally.
Like an English
Not anymore.
muffin.
We got Mando in our lives. Got the full body deodorant. We got the all that stuff to help get rid of your body odor. It's not just covering it up, not just burying your BO in perfumes. It is actually actively killing the odor, the things that cause the odor. Nice. It is whole body deodorant. Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, your package, your belly button, your butt crack, your stinky crevices, your stomach folds. Got several of those. And your feet. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and it's vegan, but don't eat it. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Those are clutch. And free shipping. Luckily, we have a discount code to help you get hooked on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code CHGO at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Use that code CHGO for $5. That's 40% off your starter pack of Mando. Do it. You won't smell bad anymore.
Yeah, and one place you don't want to smell bad, make sure that you're not, that BO is not overtaking people. Use your Mando and give yourself a step up as in a job interview. And if you're looking for a job, you want to go to Indeed.com. And if you're looking to hire, what better place than Indeed.com? They're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search. It is to match, and to match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. They are your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed's internal data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. I know many years of job searching, I was using Indeed to get my name out there, get my resume out there, all that stuff. Indeed helps you if you're looking for a job, and it helps employers find the right candidates and match you up with the person that's going to make your position closed. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Again, go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now. Support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this here CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Again, that's Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
All right. Are we ready to crack open the mailbag, Law?
One thing I do want to
yes,
point out about the potential for the playoffs. The goaltending last year, Peter Mrazek was incredible.
Yeah,
for
as
what
good
was,
as you can ask him to be.
For what was in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be in front of him, and now arguably best NHL backup Laurent Brossoit, is an improved team. If Brossoit can replicate what he did last year as a backup, and Mrazek can replicate what he did in arguably his best season, most games played, least competitive roster he played for, and the save percentage and whatnot that he had. If that is the quality of goaltending that this team has, there's a significant increase in the standings as well. Like having two goaltenders that you can rely on and can give you a 900 or better save percentage on a regular basis, that's going to be a difference.
Last year, Brossoit had a goals against of 2 and a save percentage of .927.
That works.
So that'd be great.
How many
pretty
games?
good.
He didn't have a ton of games.
23.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're Connor Hellebuck's backup, you don't see the ice.
But even if he has a career average year, his career averages in 140 games, 2.64 goals against, 911 save percentage.
That'll
play.
That's wonderful.
That's great.
That is a huge improvement.
Yes.
That's better numbers than what Mrazek had last year.
Yes. So maybe we get it develops into what we thought we were going to see last year, where it truly is a 1A, 1B tandem as opposed to starter backup.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you want to start Peter Mrazek 60 games this year.
It's a bad idea.
I mean, he played, 53 last year?
Yeah, I don't think you want to really do that again.
I mean, if he can do it and he's playing well, then by all means.
56 games played, 53 starts.
53 starts, yeah. And
305 goals against,
career
908
high.
save percentage.
Yeah, so if Brossoit can put up those numbers, he's going to play more in 27 games.
If they do a let's say a 50-32 with Mrazek leading the way, and they get close to what both of them did last year, or equal to, or whatever, like I don't know, that's a significant improvement in and of itself.
Not having almost an automatic 4 to 5 goals against every third game is going to be a big difference.
Yeah. Anyways, just wanted to point that out.
All right, let's get back into the mailbag. These are questions from Twitter. We kind of mentioned this name a little earlier, so this is a quick one for you. This is from Dave. What are the chances of Taylor Hall finding his form and making an impact on this team after the injuries?
He's getting paid to.
Yeah.
He's getting paid to. I mean, the chances are good that he's going to be. I mean, he was taking morning skates with the team the final couple games of the year. He's going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
And he's got the track record. He will be an effective player. He is a top 6 player on this team. The opportunities will be there to put up the points. I just can't trust him to play more than 15, 20 games. That's my issue. I'm not worried about him not producing. I'm worried about him not playing.
That's it. And if he plays, if you get in an imaginary world 82 games out of Taylor Hall,
I will bet you
you're talking about
doesn't happen.
a 60 point probably minimum for a guy at that skill level.
He's done that once in his career.
Played 82 games?
82 games.
Yeah.
2015-16.
Is that his Hart Trophy winning year?
No. His Hart Trophy year with the Devils, he played in 76 games. He's played in 80 or more games twice in his career. He did it, was that 2 seasons ago with Boston, 21-22, and then he played all 82 in 2015-16 with Edmonton at the age of 24.
And we have a question in the chat if he's fully recovered. Kyle Davidson let us know the other day, everybody is on pace to be ready for training camp.
Which is good.
He said he was skating at the end of the year, took that last road trip of the season. We were all kind of thrown off guard when he joined the team for morning skate.
Yeah.
in LA.
He was skating for the last couple of games.
Yeah, so he should be ready to go. He's recovered from this injury, but when does the next one come? The best case scenario for Taylor Hall is he stays healthy through the holidays. He's producing, and then you try and get him traded as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
You try and find that team that's looking to beat the trade deadline and make that move in January, February.
Yeah.
And you get the quicker you trade him to someone else, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And then it opens up a spot for one of your young guys.
I do have faith that even if the Hawks are like sniffing around, like a couple points out of a wild card spot around the deadline, that he's not going to be like, we have to go for it.
Yeah.
No, he seems to have a very level head in that regard, and we'll look at things realistically.
I feel like we are going to stick it out and try and go for a playoff run. I think you'd have to squarely be in a playoff spot come February, like mid-February. Like you'd have to be not like, oh, we're like a point or two out of the wild card. Like no, you'd have to be like third in the division.
I mean, trading future assets to get the second wild card and get trucked by the Colorado Avalanche. What does that really get you?
That doesn't do a whole lot. If you're like 1 or 2 points out of the wild card and you're 2 or 3 weeks away from the deadline, I think you're looking at who can we move, what can we get, what makes sense.
Right.
Like I think that's what you have to do.
I agree.
Because given the messaging that we had at the end of the year from guys like Seth Jones and Nick Foligno, given what Kyle Davidson said and what he went out and did, if you're going into that locker room and the team is in a playoff spot and you say we are selling, that's a tough message to deliver. And I think that's going to be not well received in that
That's
locker
why
room.
you try and get Taylor Hall traded in January. Because you're just waiting for that injury to come.
Sure.
Get him out of here as quickly as possible.
But I think that's the only case that you don't sell.
You probably set a price for him too, though. If you are in that position where, hey, we're close, we're in it, we're playing in games that matter. If someone's going to throw you a fourth for Taylor Hall, like
no,
maybe just hang on to him. But if someone wants to give you a second or higher, or even maybe a third, you listen. But I do think there is some element to that. Like you don't want to have this really resurgent season where things look good. Connor Bedard's approaching, looking like he's going to have 100 points, and maybe Lucas Reichel's become something, and Nazar's here, and everything's going really well. And then the first chance you get to make the team weaker, you do it for just a throwaway pick. That's the sort of thing that Davidson needs to calibrate in his head, is what is the mental impact of doing that to a team. And if they lose it on their own and Taylor Hall gets hurt, at least they don't have to look at him and be like, well, F that guy.
Right, yeah.
And
just for argument's sake, he has a 10-team no-trade list this year.
All right.
Cap friendly, still operating as normal.
All right. Our next question is also based around a little bit of Taylor Hall. This is from Brady. Who gets more goals this season, Bertuzzi, Tavo, or Hall? And if it's Hall, do the Hawks extend or trade him?
Oh, they're not going to extend him.
I don't see an extension for Taylor Hall.
That's bad money.
If he leads the team in goals and plays,
leads that trio. I don't know if Brady's suggesting this is the
out of those
team
three.
Leader. Out of those three.
Bertuzzi. I say Bertuzzi puts up the most goals.
Yeah, I think that's the logical pick. Tavo is more of a playmaker than a finisher. He'll have I think
finish.
There you go. I think Tavo will likely lead the team in assists this year, or at least top 2 or 3.
Yeah, if you're not, I think Bedard's going to lead in everything.
Unless Connor's got 100-point pace, and he's probably putting up 50, 60 assists.
Well, then that definitely helps the goal totals of Tavo and Bertuzzi. I think Bertuzzi's the kind of guy that will be there for a lot of redirects and rebounds off of counter Bedard shots.
Play in front of the net. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Out of those 3, I think Bertuzzi's probably the logical pick, but could be any of them, to be honest with you.
All those guys have like 25 goal plus potential.
Yeah. And if they all hit that, well, then that's a good thing for everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, we have over 200 people viewing and only 49 likes. Make that make sense for us.
Ooh.
Do us a favor. We're going to do a like spike right now.
Don't make us do more math.
2, 1. Smash that like button for us. Get those like numbers up. That helps us a lot. Big time. It takes you 2 seconds. It's right there next to the play button. And while you're hovering over that area, why not hit the subscribe button while you're there too? That helps us out a lot. But just hitting those likes boosts us up on YouTube, makes our videos move to the top so more people can find us, to allow us to keep doing these great 5-day-a-week shows for y'all.
Yeah.
Should we hit the break zone now, or do we want to get one more question?
We got 1 minute till the break. Let's do a quick one. Let's see. What
yes
about
or no? Either or.
How about this one? Should the Hawks make a trade for Rutger McGroarty, Thomas Hawk?
Sure. Will they? No.
Yeah, I'm down for it. It feels like
they? Absolutely.
Odd that it hasn't happened yet. Everyone thought that was coming at the draft.
Well, there's nothing pressing the Jets to do it now.
Right.
Just because they say trade me now doesn't mean they're going to say okay.
Right.
They're not the Flyers and get.
And he's not under contract.
Right. So
they can just say go back to Michigan for all we care.
Right. And we'll revisit this next year.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he never got moved and the fact that Marty Necas never got moved tells me that the asking price was ridiculous.
Yes.
And I'm not giving up a ridiculous asking price for another prospect.
Also, it might benefit the Jets to say, we're not trading you, go back to Michigan. And he goes back and has a monster season. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to be a
Now we
day
have to
one
have him,
NHL
yeah.
guy. And then
Right.
the Jets are like, great. Then our price just went up.
Right. Or, yeah, things come around and all of a sudden he wants to play for Winnipeg.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We're in the break zone, Jay.
We
And
are in the
Greg.
break zone. And the perfect eyewear for the break zone, since it's so bright in here,
It is.
is your Shady Rays. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for all kinds of zones with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style and match your favorite team's jersey as well. I love my Shady Rays. I've been a customer of theirs long before they became a sponsor, long before ALLCITY and CHGO was even a thing. I was rocking those Shady Rays because they are just awesome. They look great. They don't break the bank, as they said, and the clarity, that crystal clear optics, I can't drive my car without it. So, plus they have the best protection in all of eyewear. If your shades go missing or they fall into a lake, never to be seen from again. I hear that it's happened.
That happened.
Every pair is backed by lost or broken
summers ago.
replacements. And if you're one of those giant weirdos who don't love your Shady Rays, you always can exchange your new pair for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop. And exclusively for our listeners, listen up, that's you folks, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO to get 35% off your polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Well, I'm done doing math for the day because that went poorly. But hey, another good use for Shady Rays is keeping that pork grease out of your face when you're grilling up your brats,
That is
your
true.
pork chops. You don't want that grease wasted in your eyes. Get it on your Shady Rays instead.
Grease in the face.
It is grilling season. Get your pork.
Yes.
People who are active, and me, need more protein than the average American. In fact, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the Dietitians of Canada, and the American College of Sports Medicine recommend 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day
Oh, that's math.
for athletes. I know that they did it for me, though, depending on training. For a 150-pound person, so Jay in 3rd grade, that's about 81 to 136 grams of protein per day. 1 3-ounce serving of pork provides 23 grams of high-quality protein
1 fork.
that can help active individuals build and preserve muscle. The International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends that people who are involved in a general fitness program or who are interested in optimizing their health eat low-fat, high-quality sources of protein. Guess what? That includes lean cuts pork. We had our friend Grilling with Dad here a while back showing us how it's done. Made us some great stuff. We elevated our protein game that day. You should too with lean pork, a powerhouse of natural goodness. Savor the flavor, savor the gains, and celebrate any occasion by enjoying the best pork produced by Illinois pig farmers. From your sausage and bacon for breakfast to pulled pork or juicy chops hot off the grill. It's an entire season dedicated to pork and the people behind the product, paid for by the Illinois pork producers. Generations of commitment.
Hell yeah.
Pork.
Thinking about our pork question yesterday. I'm just
It's tough to choose.
It's hard.
I'd rather rank than eliminate.
Yeah, I'm very high on bacon, but like still, I don't know how you just say, oh, it's just bacon. Like you gotta have ribs and all that other good stuff.
Oh man, ribs are
It's
good.
tough.
I'm not giving it up. You know what? Let's give up veggies instead.
Yeah,
Call it even.
that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah, I think so.
That's Lucas Reichel for Rucker McGordy.
I can figure it out.
All right, let's speaking of pork, let's talk Rockford for a bit here. So this is from Nancy Faustdog, who says, does Levchinov start in Rockford? Yes, I think is the answer to that.
Yes.
But this one, what can fans look at to see his development? How will you judge Levchinov's development by watching him?
It's a good question. I think watching him play in a structure, seeing how he plays with the upgraded physicality. Now, college game is physical, but it's kind of, I don't know, college hockey's like, it's like hair on fire hockey.
You get away with a lot more.
Yeah, it's just like college hockey is very chaotic because there's big gaps from the great college players like Celebrini and like,
to the 26-year-old senior on his 9th year.
Yes, like there's a massive gap in talent there. So I think seeing how he plays in the system, seeing how he handles physicality, obviously you want to see the point production there.
You do, but it's not the end of the world.
It's not essential,
if it's not
but
there.
Yeah,
You'll know how the development's going because Anders Sorensen will not, especially at the end of the year, we'll know how it's going by, February, March, seeing where he's playing, how much he's playing, what situations he's in. They're probably going to ease him in. October, November, probably not a lot of, power play, at least at first, maybe power play 2, probably very little PK. Probably second, third pairing just to kind of ease him in. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the year, as they're making a run to the playoffs, if he's getting big minutes, if he's playing top pair, all that stuff, then you'll know the development's going well. But fitting within the structure, just not getting in over his head a lot. Don't pay too much attention to like plus minus at that point.
I never pay attention to that, really.
Well, some people do. Some people want to give out postseason awards just for that stat. But just focus on what his role is at the start of the season and what his role is come March. Hopefully, it's increased by then, because then you'll know the development's going well. If he's getting scratched at those games, we saw,
that'd be rough.
They've scratched top prospects before. Come the end of the year, we've seen it. Obviously, you don't want to compare, Levshunov to a Nicholas Bodine, but his second year in the organization, he was a healthy scratch for their playoff games, and that was telling.
Yeah.
And then he was gone.
Boy, I really hope that the number 2 overall pick is never scratched for a playoff game.
You would hope not.
I don't even care if it's his first year.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah. I think for him, it's going to be how does he handle the speed change in the game, and I think offensively, like that's what made him one of the like top 5 players in the draft, top defenseman in the draft, depending on who you talk to, was that offensive upside, the skill that he has to be able to control things in his own zone, or in the offensive zone. In his own zone defensively, I think seeing how he plays within, like you said, Jay, like the Blackhawks structure defensively, and I think just the pace of like defending the rush will be something that he'll have to adjust to. And I think, he's 18. He's going to still grow into his frame and mature physically. And I think he'll be able to handle all of that. It's just, I think it's just the decision making as it gets faster, and just the physical speed of the game as it gets faster, especially defensively. If he's able to handle all that, I think we will see an increase in his responsibilities and minutes and go on from there.
I think your point about decision making is key. If you're sitting down and going to an IceHogs game or putting Rockford on your TV, those are the things you can watch on a game-to-game basis and see, okay, when he just made that pinch, did it screw his teammates? Did it lead to a scoring chance the other way, or did it create offense for the IceHogs? Right,
like keep possession.
Those are the sort of things that on a game-to-game, night-to-night, shift-to-shift basis. It's the ability to make the right decisions at the right time.
Did he force the puck through the middle of the ice, or did he take the easy play along the boards to get the puck out of the zone? Did he stay on the ice too long in a shift and it cost him? Yeah.
I mean, we saw that early last year with Bedard, where Bedard would get just stuck out there for 90 minutes to 2 minutes, 90 minutes and 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Stuck out there by his own choice.
Right. Because he just didn't want to come off, and it's I got 2 super chats we want to get to. Young Dangle God says, with all the free agent signings, is Patrick Laine still on the table?
I doubt it.
I think that ship is sailed. I think the Hawks are trying to do everything they can to avoid any sort of drama whatsoever. And as all 3 of us advocates for mental health, we're glad Patrick Laine is getting the help he needs. Hopefully it gives him everything he needs. But I think the Hawks are just like, we don't want anything to stir the pot here. We just want to play it safe.
Plus, I don't think he's technically available to be traded till he's out of the assistance program. So,
what is it, middle of this month or something?
I don't know for sure when that happens, but I would definitely think that that's off the table unless, they want Taylor Hall.
Yeah, and it seems pretty set that this is the group that's going into training camp.
Yeah.
Beyond that, who knows? But I think it's pretty set that these are the guys that are going to go into August and September and be the Blackhawks. I don't foresee any kind of trade or any other moves like that that are going to make an impact like that.
Another $5 from Thomas says, "What Pearl Jam song are you putting on Bedard's playlist? Potential top 10 Thursday topic?"
I can't pick one.
That's tough.
It's I don't know. If I were to create a Pearl Jam only playlist for Connor Bedard, there'd be like 130 songs on it. It's tough.
If you had
that
to,
would cover one of his practice sessions.
I mean, I always start with, I tell people, if you're going to play a song for someone who's never heard Pearl Jam and you want them to get hooked right away, it's Black.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
That's a good one.
To me, that song always hits me in a sacred place. That's my favorite song. That's the most meaningful. But that's the song I think, like, if you listen to one of those great live versions from the early 2000s of Black and you're not hooked, then Pearl Jam's not for you.
True. That's a really good one. I think, too, the song Animal really captures like everything that makes Pearl Jam great. It's got it's rocking. Eddie Vedder's really at the top of his vocal game. You can sing along to it. Rearview Mirror is on that too.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. But I remember when they honored Bob Probert when they forced him to retire, the video montage they did for him was set to Animal by Pearl Jam, and I would have run through a fucking brick wall when I heard that.
Well,
it was just Animal with Bob Probert just beating the life out of people. It's like, let's go.
Perfect song for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So many good ones. I could do a whole week just on Pearl Jam songs.
I'm going to say Hail Hail because he will eventually be the king of the NHL.
Shortened to the point.
Yeah.
Kind of like Connor Bedard.
There you go.
All right. Let's see here. How about we go with this question from James Schulte.
Oh, young Dangle God. Please.
What did he say?
He doesn't know who Pearl Jam is.
Okay. That's too bad. Anyways, James says,
educate yourself.
With the hope that Kaiser might get a shot at the NHL while Korch goes to Rockford, who would you most like to pair with Kaiser and why?
Listen, I don't feel like Korchinski's automatically going to Rockford and Kaiser's automatically going to the NHL. Like there's going to be roster competition, but just because, I know we said it yesterday, just because Korchinski is now able to go to Rockford, and you got Levshunov likely going there, you probably Del Mastro, Allen, Kaiser, two of those three are probably down there too. Maybe all three of them are. Who knows? But I just don't think just send all the kids to Rockford. Like Korchinski, yeah, he had his struggles last year, but he didn't look like he is drowning in the NHL. I think he had normal struggles for a 19-year-old defenseman in the NHL. I feel like he has a spot to lose on the Blackhawks
That's
roster.
how it feels.
And
it's his job to lose.
He'll have to be dog shit to lose it, honestly. Like, he'll have to be that bad.
And at no point last year was he dog shit.
No.
There were your expected struggles. But for the most part, he held his own. I wanted to see a few more flashes from him last year.
Yeah.
Like, wow, look at that moment from Korchinski. There were a couple. But, I think that we're maybe making a little too much of, well, now Korchinski's going to start in Rockford. I don't think that's the case. However, to answer the question, be it Korchinski or Kaiser, on the left side there, you probably want a more defensively reliable partner for him. Connor Murphy, if healthy, makes the most sense for either of those guys in my mind.
I think the top four of Vlasic and Jones, Korchinski and Murphy is probably what you're going to start the season with.
Yeah. And even if it's Kaiser instead of Korchinski, I'd probably keep it the same way and let Martinez and Brody be your bottom pair.
Yeah.
Because Brody, despite being left-handed, plays a lot on the right side.
Are you going to play... You'd have to see an incredible jump in development from Kaiser to be like, okay, now you're going to play 18-plus minutes on a second pair. Like, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
And I think Korchinski is probably ahead of him in that department of, like, who are you going to give an 18-minute assignment to? Korchinski, who did it pretty much all of last year, or Kaiser, who was in and out?
Kaiser averaged 17-18 last year of ice time.
Yeah.
Let's look at Korchinski here. Well, they don't have him.
I mean, Korchinski was close to 20, right? Had to be.
Yeah, he had to be.
1937.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think Korchinski is ahead of the game than where Kaiser is, but it's open competition in training camp. So that'll determine a lot, but I still think Korchinski is ahead of it.
I agree.
Yes, I would be surprised if Kevin Korchinski's in Rockford to start the season.
Yeah.
It would be surprising.
All right, well, since we are talking about pairings and all that, Brad, who's at SkiJax, asks, want to get your thoughts on line pairings in Rockford with the Levshinov signing. Hope CHGO has more coverage of what's happening there this season.
I don't know. I can't give Rockford line predictions. The AHL is a
Like defensive pairings, is that no?
Let's find out who's there before we do that first. But as far as IceHogs go this year, there would definitely be more.
I mean, we
focus.
We talk about them every week on the rebuild report.
There's a weekly,
season.
but I think on the show, possibly some things might be coming to fruition. But we'll definitely be talking about it a lot more on the show. I think one way or the other.
You got the number 2 overall pick there.
Just because there's so many more guys there. Like last year, you had a handful. You had Del Mastro and Allen and Doc down there, But now those guys will be there. Levshinov will be there.
Slaggert and Nazar.
Slaggert and Nazar likely be there. At least it's for some time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot more guys there. I mean,
Gavin Hayes, Savoie.
Yeah, they're
Lewinsky, is he like you're gonna have a lot more guys. It's not gonna be a handful. It's gonna be the majority of the team.
Almost the whole roster.
So
except Zach Sanford.
We're gonna get. We'll definitely be. Maybe we'll make a weekly segment this year.
Yeah, the Rockford report.
It's just
you know what we can call it? The Rockford Files.
Rockford
Yes.
Files.
No
Yeah.
one's ever done that
No one's
before.
ever done
Yeah,
that.
there you
before.
go.
I think
Trademark.
that's original.
Like Mailbag Monday. Man, we are just idea machines.
That guy's probably dead anyway,
We
right?
really are.
I would think so.
Who
I don't know who you're talking
what
about.
was the guy? The Maverick guy. What was his name?
Tom Cruise.
No, not that Maverick.
Goose.
The Cowboy Maverick. You guys suck.
Iceman. Merlin.
Never mind.
All right.
I'll find
Well,
it on my own.
we're in
Good
this.
for nothing.
We're talking Rockford. So Scott asks, what's Rockford's
James
chances
There you go.
of a Calder Cup if Hayes, Nazar, Slaggert, Linsky, Savoie, Ferrand pan out and play up to expectations?
Well, Alex Ferrand, I believe, is going back to the OHL because he's still unsigned. And I don't think he's age eligible either. If all those young players play up to expectations this year, I mean, you're talking about a Rockford team that should probably be in the postseason. I mean, they've been in the postseason 3 back-to-back years at least. 3 straight? No, because 3 straight would be no.
Yeah, it's been 3.
Has it been 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did play in, not play in.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if those guys hit and you have a season in net from Jude Comezzo where you see some progression from him, if Arvid Soderblom, who's back in the AHL this year, plays like he did when he was previously in the AHL, that's good. And you see progression from the defensive core that's still young, second year guys like Del Mastro and Allen, and you'll have Crevier and Phillips likely there too. And you got veteran presence like Brett Sini, Zach Sanford. Like if the rookies hit, it's a team that shouldn't have to worry about the play-in round. Like they should be a team that makes the playoffs, skips that play-in round, and should be a top 3 in the division.
Yeah, they should. As far as how far they'll go in the playoffs, the AHL, when you get to usually the conference finals and then the Calder Cup final, it's usually a couple of teams that are heavy laden on the veterans. Look at the Hershey Bears, the last 2 Calder Cup. There's like 2 prospects on that team.
Yeah.
It's a lot of AHL guys. And when you're talking about a bunch of rookies playing in their first professional playoffs versus guys in their 30s who've got
Done it,
300, has 100 plus AHL playoff games under their belt, usually those veteran teams get the advantage in a 7-game series. But they definitely should be a fun team to watch. They are going to be an important team They definitely should make the playoffs. As far as they go, we'll see how that happens. We thought they were going to make a deep run last year, and then right before the playoffs, Cole Gutman got hurt, Nolan Allen got hurt, and it caused, they definitely were missed in that series against Grand Rapids. They did re-sign Jackson Cates today, who was
veteran guy.
Another veteran guy has some big goals for them. They're asking about Rem Pitlick. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet.
He is not signed anywhere yet.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's brought back at some point. He was really, really good for them.
He feels like an AHL contract.
Yes.
Which is fine. Good for him.
All right, gentlemen. Let's go with Alberto Vitale, who asks, I know you guys say that there's nothing wrong with over-ripening your prospects, but watching Tenorti and Magna getting time over Kaiser and Phillips last year seemed crazy. Is that a coaching decision? How much does Davidson control those lineup decisions?
Well, Davidson controls who's here and who's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a conversation probably, but
lineups go down to Luke Richardson.
Right.
Because I think Kyle says, you coach the team, I'll build it.
Right.
But a lot of what has been said, and Kyle Davidson said this too, like coming into free agency is like, you don't want young guys there just treading water or barely staying afloat. And while you look at what last year's team and say, God, Tenorti and Magna were so bad. They're so bad. Why don't you just play these kids? Because you're putting those kids in a terrible situation where you've already got an incredibly young team without a lot of skill. They're already getting buried possession-wise. You're getting killed every game. Putting those guys out there night after night after night just to get their asses kicked it's bad for their development. You don't want them in a situation like that. And that's why the speculation's kind of been like, well, maybe he's saying Korchinski's going to start in Rockford because you want guys to thrive. That's the word that Davidson keeps using. It's not surviving, it's thriving. And putting guys out there when they're not ready simply because the vets you have out there are also bad. They have nothing invested in Tenorti and Magna.
Right.
I think it was you who said yesterday about how you thought Isaac Phillips could be the seventh defenseman because they don't mind if he sits. If he sits 5 out of 6 games and is on the NHL roster, it's okay because they don't have a ton of investment in his future.
Yeah.
They look at him as a nice depth piece they can call up when they need to. He's got size, he's athletic, all those sort of things, but they don't see him as a key piece to the future. So they're happy with putting Phillips in a situation like that, where with Kaiser and those guys, like they don't want to put him in a place like that because it's bad for their development.
Yeah, it's more valuable for them to play 18 to 20 minutes a night in Rockford than watch 3 out of 4 games from an NHL press box.
Or just get your ass kicked.
Right.
To have Nathan McKinnon blow past you 6 times a night and kill your confidence, whatever confidence you had left. So that's why you saw Tenorti and Magna, because they looked at it as an organization and said, putting these kids out here in this situation is bad. It's detrimental to their development.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we still have more questions going here. This is from
They never end.
CK Limitier. How would you set the team? Is Slaggert and Nazer in the team? Is Smith in the team? Or a 13th forward? Thank you for continuing with the show despite nothing happening.
Oh, there's always something happening.
There's always something happening.
Yes, but I'm not in charge.
I mean, like we said, like there's roster competition that's going to be key in training camp. I feel like unless any of the young guys who weren't like everyday roster guys last year, like Bedard, Vlasic, and Korchinski, I'm not even considering Bedard and Vlasic. I'm just talking about Korchinski here because him and Reichel are like the 2 guys that it's just like, if they're bad in training camp, then they will be surprises to be, or they will be in the AHL. But I feel like guys like Nazar and Slager, like they would have to unquestionably be not one of the best 13. They'd have to be one of the best 10 forwards, because for Nazar, he's not going to play on 4th line role. He could play a 2nd or 3rd line role if he's that good and earns it. Wonderful. Slager, you could play in a 4th line or 3rd line role because that's more what his game is predicated towards. But they will have to beat out the regular NHL guys clearly. Like if they're on the bubble, they're in Rockford. because I just think it'll be more important for them to get those top opportunities in Rockford than to be buried or be the extra forward in Chicago. It would be a waste of time.
You definitely don't want Frank Nazar on the team and playing on the fourth line 9 minutes a night. That doesn't do anything for you.
Or like floundering and you're trying to shield him on the third line wing or something like that. He's
still so young and into his pro career that, if he needs to spend half a season, the full season in Rockford, so be it. Same with Slager. Slager looked really good.
Yeah.
But, these guys are going to have to, or nothing's going to be given to them. Like last year they said, Lucas Reichel, you're a full-time NHLer. Yeah. How'd that work out? Not great. So now he and these other guys have to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I know they both look good at the end of the last season, if they look that good in training camp, then they'll likely be on the team.
Make no mistake, there is a second-line center spot open on this team.
Mm-hmm.
That's for a reason, and you could put Dickinson there if you have to, but there is a clear open spot as the 2C on this team, and I think they're hoping Frank Nazar plays well enough to make the team.
Yeah. If he's one of the best forwards in training camp, he'll be there.
Yeah.
If not, they'll take their time, and they'll get him here when he's ready.
Lethal Migraine says that Davidson should be fired immediately if Nazar and Slacker don't make the team. Nazar and Slacker dominated play when they were together at the end of the year. Dominated play? It's a massive stretch.
Yeah.
Nazar looked good.
Nazar looked good in the 3 games that he played.
Right.
Small sample size.
They dominated no
Also riding the I'm making my NHL debut adrenaline. Same thing with Slager.
There's no film on me. Nobody knows exactly what I'm going to do.
Right.
I could catch some people off guard and score this goal.
Nazar and Slager are exciting guys as part of the rebuild. I don't think they are the season is a wash if they're not on the opening night roster.
Demanding they be on the team on opening night and playing in the NHL all season is going right back to where we were in the he who shall not be named development regime.
Yep.
And if that was the case, if it was going to be, Landon Slaggart and Frank Nazar, they're NHL players.
They wouldn't have signed
those guys.
Yeah.
So,
and like Kyle Davidson said, it's very easy. It's much easier to say, wow, these guys are actually ready and make room for them than it is to say, oh shit, these two are definitely not ready. Now we need to go find somebody that can play here.
Mm-hmm.
You've addressed it already. If Maroon and Smith and Donato and whoever are scratched because Nazar and Slaggart are so damn good you can't keep them off the ice, awesome.
Yeah.
That is
good
fantastic news.
Guys like that, guys like your Donatos and your Craig Smiths and your Pat Maroons, there are other teams who will take them.
Yes.
There are playoff teams that will say, I could use a Ryan Donato on my fourth line in PK.
Yeah.
They will take them.
There's going to be teams that suffer many, many injuries that have to find whoever the F they can in short notice, much like the Blackhawks did last year with Zach Sanford and Jacob Megna and Remington Pitlick and all of our friends.
It's, as you said, it's much easier to make room for a guy than to fill glaring holes in the middle of a season.
Can Steve from Cicero ask a question?
Sure.
Why are the Panthers signing all the old bad Blackhawks?
It's like
because it worked out with Gustav Forsling.
It's like 2011 all over again. The Panthers were Blackhawks South, and then Blackhawks South moved to Carolina for a little bit, and now it's back to Florida.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam Boquist will definitely be Gustav Forsling 2.0.
I cannot wait till he wins a Conn Smythe. That's going to be amazing.
They've got Jacob Megna, too, who probably be like an all-star this year.
They got
Mackenzie Entwistle.
And Mackenzie Entwistle, who will be a top-line scorer. The Panthers, man, is Dale Talon back in charge now?
Yeah,
He's
really.
getting all the old Blackhawks.
Really.
Just like he did back in the day. All we need is Dylan Olsen to make another another appearance there.
Oh, man. And Adam Clendenning.
Yes.
All right.
Chris Versteeg.
We could close up the show. We have 4 questions left. We'd push those off till tomorrow.
All right.
Are there any rapid fire? We can finish in the next 30 seconds.
Let's do these 2 because I think we could just be quick with them. The first one is from Tim Hayes. Which lower-ranked Blackhawks prospect is being underrated right now, like a second-rounder later type player?
Nick Lardis. I think he's going to have a huge season.
I was going to say Levchinov, but he said second rounder later. People are not excited enough about Levchinov.
I'm
sorry, they're not.
I like the Lardis, because he's not the flashy forward. I like the Lardis shout out because I tell you what, when he spoke at development camp this week, he no longer looks like a 12-year-old.
That's good.
He looks like a 15-year-old now. But he's
Nice.
but he's put on some size. Like you could
He's firmer.
You could tell that like,
Nice.
oh, this kid. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if he was 3 inches taller.
Yeah.
But kid could be an exciting player.
And then the other one is from Andrew Neve, who says, name an unexpected prospect that could make the opening night rosters.
Jalen Lipin.
Ooh. I like Colton Dock.
And I'm saying that because who the F knows, and it's very unlikely. That would be a surprise. To
John
your
Mustard.
question.
Yeah, if John Mustard doesn't make the team, file Carter like Davidson. I agree.
There you go.
My dark horse pick, and I'm this is a serious dark horse pick, Nolan Allen. Because
Stranger
Luke
things have
Richardson
happened.
was really contemplating that last preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he was really high on him, and we
Yeah.
thought maybe he's going to make the team. Everybody's like, it's going to be DeMastro or Kaiser. Watch it be Nolan Allen.
Could be.
Well, he's also been playing on the right side in Rockford, and being able to play on the right side on this team is a need, basically.
Very valuable. That's why they used the second overall pick to get one of those guys.
Yeah, wouldn't you? I'm sticking with Colton Dock. I don't know if that would be a massive surprise, but I don't know. That's some versatility up and down the lineup with that guy if he's healthy, which is with all Docks. That's the key.
It's a big key that they have not unlocked yet.
It's true. All right, thank you. How many we got? 2 more left tomorrow.
They're good for tomorrow, I think.
All right, we'll
2
rifle
more
them
for
off tomorrow. That sounds fun. And
we
we'll be back
actually
again.
got to think of something to do tomorrow.
Yeah, something will happen.
Give it time.
I do.
We can
think
recap the
yeah.
TAVO press conference.
Tomorrow
That was
is
exciting. That'll take 3 minutes.
tomorrow is July 10th, so just keep your eyes open for July 10th news.
It's true.
July 10th.
That's the day that 2 guys are allegedly eligible to be hired again.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was the 12th.
Nah, it's the 10th.
Oh, it's happening.
Well,
He who shall not be named will be named something this week.
yeah.
And the other one, don't be shocked.
Who's got an opening at coach?
Columbus
right?
Blue Jackets.
Columbus.
That is a very low pressure, not a big media town, not going to get a ton of attention. They'll hire him. People will be outraged, and it will go away.
Sounds like someone they already hired.
Well, that's the only thing, though, is like, can you do that 2 years in a row? But
Different-
it's
different regime.
different. It's a different regime.
Different
That's true.
regime.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see.
Yikes.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Yeah, that's
We'll
a good
find out.
call.
Give it
I
23
might be
hours.
sick tomorrow.
We'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
we all might be. All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. On your way out, do us a favor, hit that like button. That right like spike really worked.
Sure did.
That did a great job. So hit it for us before you log off if you haven't yet. And reminder, we'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 right here on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.